Why, hello there. So it looks like you were interested in getting your skull measured. A little craniometry. Yes. Well, physical and forensic anthropologists use craniometry to this day to accurately identify whether it is remains of historical figures like Neanderthals, or even just to identify perhaps even a deceased victim or criminal, and trying to kind of see what their identity might have been in their life. So it's still used nowadays. So if you'd like, we can use it on you. You don't have to be deceased for it to work on you. Okay, excellent. Well, in that case, I'm going to be using 2 sets of rulers. I seem to have misplaced my measuring tape, so I'm going to be using a different measuring tape that isn't kind of a building standard measuring tape. It's going to be a tailoring measure tape, along with a flat ruler. I'm going to use the flat ruler to kind of size up the width and length of your skull perpendicularly, so that way we can see how your face or profile lines up. And then I'm going to be using the measuring tape to see how your face measures around. Okay? Okay, excellent. Well, in that case, I'm going to grab my little ruler here, and I'm going to grab my measuring tape. There we go. And I'm going to use them to firstly measure your face perpendicularly. So I'm going to use this flat ruler, and I'm going to just slide it on the top of your head, and then I'm going to perpendicularly line up this measuring tape. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. Would you mind looking in that direction for me, please? Okay, excellent. It does seem like your frontal lobe is nicely lined up with the rest of your facial features. It's like a nice sort of direct line flowing all the way down to your chin. Okay, look in that direction for me, please. Excellent. And it matches. Excellent. I'm going to jot that down real quick. Give me one moment. I'm going to take a little note of this. Perfect. Okay. So, for example, in craniometry, a way to discern how pronounced your frontal lobe is determining from the side if your frontal lobe is more recessed than your chin, or if the upper half of your face is more recessed than the lower half of your face. It indicates a recessed frontal lobe, so your capacity to process thoughts or delay gratification might be stunted. So in your case, it was completely flat, meaning that you're someone who can be described as quite balanced. The more recessed your frontal lobe is to your lower half of your face, the more you could say that impulse control might not be your forte. And likewise, when it comes to processing cause and effect, consequences, and just kind of like figuring out how things function downstream from whatever thought or action you might take. So, I'm next going to just continue measuring your frontal lobe to see how large the width and length is. So stay still for me. I'm going to go around your head real quick. That's good. Again, I'm just going to go around here. And I'm just going to see. Okay, good. So we have a measurement of 50 inches going around your head. 50 inches. Very large head. I cry for your mother having birthed you. Truly a tragedy, but it does indicate that you have a very pronounced and developed brain. Now I'm going to just measure the length of it. So I'm just going to take this. Actually, I'm just going to use the flat ruler. It'll probably work best a little bit right now, just because your head's so big. I'm just going to go across just like that. Like that. Okay, good. Just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, okay. Oof. Yes, you have quite a large head. But once again, the brain is very well developed, so congratulations. Typically, once again, if this portion of your head is tinier or kind of peaks, then that might indicate a smaller brain space. For example, if you were to look at a Neanderthal, their brain shape, or the shape that the skull takes on, because their brain wasn't that developed, after the brow ridge is quite small. So the brow ridge was very pronounced in the Neanderthal, as was their nose ridge. But once they got to the brain shape, it was not only thin, but petite on both ends. In your case, it is quite large, and I'm going to measure your forehead. Typically, a tall and or wide forehead indicates, well, a tall forehead. And if it's wide, then that also includes, but it has to be tall at minimum. If you just have a wide forehead but a short forehead, then that would kind of have a Neanderthal appearance to it. Not a great, it doesn't indicate someone who's a big thinker. So let's see. Okay, I'm going to just measure your forehead here. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, very good. Then across, just across right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Very large forehead. I'm going to jot these notes down. Excellent. In that case, now we're going to be measuring your eye orbital sockets. Your orbital sockets will also indicate some aspects of you that can identify or more thoroughly reflect characteristics that you might not be aware of. So just keep looking forward for me. Thank you. I'm just going to look at your eye sockets real quick. Okay. I'm going to feel for your inner eye sockets too, just to see where they begin and end. Okay. And then once again, I'm going to see where they begin and end. Okay. And then on this side, I'm going to see where they begin and end. Okay. Good. And then I'm going to see where they begin and end. Okay, good. Typically people with more narrow or sort of like squared orbital sockets tend to be a bit more, they tend to live off of raw meat. Meanwhile, those with rounder orbital sockets tend to be a bit more industrious. They tend to be a little more observant of their surroundings. Now we're going to be analyzing your nose. This will not be a lesson in physiognomy, but I'm just going to see how your nose kind of falls according to your nose ridge. So if you wouldn't mind just looking to my left, your right. Excellent. Just gonna take a couple little notes from here. Excellent. And then look straight forward at me. I'm just gonna measure the width of it now. Okay, excellent. Good. I'm gonna take a couple more notes of that too. Your nose is quite pronounced. I'm not going to tell you the personality features that each nose might carry, kind of like aquiline or upturned or the Nixon, I guess is the best way to describe the bulbous nose. But your nose it has a more pronounced bridge, and that usually is reflective of the northern hemisphere. In the northwestern hemisphere. And your nose is a little bit more on the narrow side. And now I'm going to be measuring your lips. Give me one moment. I'm just going to give this a good little measurement. Okay. There we go. Your lips are pretty much quite connected to your face, which reflects that once again, as we kind of figured out from the beginning, that your face is quite, it's like a line is going across your face. There's no slant or sort of like recessed frontal lobe. That is the number one thing we look for, is a recessed frontal lobe. If someone has a recessed frontal lobe, you can kind of assume that their processing of reality is going to be quite primitive, to say the least. And then I'm going to be measuring your chin. So keep looking forward at me. Okay. I'm going to do the thirds of your face just to see how they all balance out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, good. It looks like you have a very balanced face. Your chin is quite strong, which demonstrates a healthy diet and healthy exercise regime. It oftentimes indicates someone who has been very interactive with their environment in a productive way. And now I'm just going to measure the distance between the bottom of your chin to your lip. Typically, people with very strong chins tend to be very masculine. Usually women have smaller chins. I'm just gonna look at your chin real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Very good. Very nice. Okay. Excellent. Okay. Well, from all the assessments that we've run, it seems that your skull is actually in very good standing. It's very lovely. It's a very strong, intelligent skull, and it's a skull that seems to have been very well suited for a functioning normal society. Now, if you'd like, we can go a little bit more in depth with my professor, Miss Angelica, who can maybe then bring out some charts and do a more deep analysis of your face, if you'd like. Okay, I can schedule that. Give me one moment. I'm just gonna okay, in that case, you're all set.